Hello everyone, Mr. Wolf Recaps here. Today I am going to explain the American science fiction film called The Time Machine. Relax and enjoy. The premise of the film is set in 1899. Dr. Alexander Hardegen is an associate professor of applied mechanics and engineering at Columbia University. The film opens with him working on a formula, so invested that his friend and colleague David Philby has to remind him of his date with his girlfriend Emma at 5. Hearing this, Alexander quickly selects his notes and rushes back to his house to get ready. On the way, he and David discuss all of Alex's proposals that have been rejected by the university. David suggests making his proposals less radical for them, in order to make them useful for people. They are welcomed in Alex's home by his housekeeper, Mrs. Voquette. They make Alex change into new clothes and he goes to meet Emma. He finally meets Emma. The two walk through Central Park and talk. Alex talks about his failing health and claims that he will only be well again when she marries him. Emma, teary-eyed, accepts his offer. After rummaging through his pockets a bit, he gives her a ring with her stone embedded in it. Emma is over the moon. However, a man suddenly approaches them and circles around. He asks them for money. When Alex tries to fight back, the robber points a gun at him. Alex complies and gives the robber his wallet and watch. But when he asks for Emma's ring, they deny it. The man then tries to take it away from her and kill her. As she struggles, Alex holds her in his arms, calling her name as she takes her last breath and dies. He is beyond horrified as he hugs her limp corpse and cries in vain. The scene cuts to 4 years later. Alex is writing a formula on the board, researching something like he always does. He still hasn't gotten over Emma's death and has been busy with work ever since. David and Mrs. Watson are worried about him that day. When David meets him, he notices something on the other side of the curtain and demands that David tell him what he is working on. David invites him to dinner in a week and offers to show him his invention. Then a week goes by, and finally it's the day Alex gets dressed for the first time since Emma's death. Then he opens the curtains and we see a piece of huge machinery on the other side. There are many wheels and gears. A chair is built in the middle. Alex sits on it and looks at Emma's picture on the locket. He slowly pulls the lever, creating a spherical shield around himself. The machine then starts when Alex pulls the last lever. The camera zooms in on the pocket watch and we see its hand moving counterclockwise. As it turns out, the machine that Alex uses as a time machine. He put his blood and sweat into the machine to go back to the day Emma died 4 years ago and save her. In the next scene, we see future Alex in Central Park on the day of Emma's death. She sees him and runs towards him. Alex is stunned to see his precious love back. He kisses her ecstatically and runs to the nearest carriage to take her out of the park. They get off the carriage in the middle of the city. Alex tells her to go to her house and stay there for the night. Assuming that the past Alex will come to Emma's home at night, he tells her not to get confused and just remember that he loves her. He leaves her on the side of the road to bring her flowers, as he promised. But then a vehicle hits her, killing Emma again. Alex realizes that he cannot change Emma's fate, and no matter what he does, she will die that night. But he doesn't give up. He believes that people from the future must have found a way to alter this factor, so he decides to go to the future and study futuristic time machines. He enters the machine and pulls the lever again, this time setting the time to 2030. As he travels through time, he sees the world around him change. In 2030, see an advertisement for the establishment of a settlement on the moon. He goes to a New York library, hoping to find a book about time travel, where he meets a hologram of a librarian named Vox 114 and is amazed by the technology. However, when talking about time travel, Vox 114 reveals that there was no such invention. Thinking that he will have better luck a few years later, he re-enters the machine and now travels to the year 2037. In 2037, the world was completely destroyed. The lunar habitation program made Earth habitable. Since the moon was attracted to itself, the gravitational forces of the body change, which causes frequent earthquakes and tsunamis on Earth. The moon's habitation caused a huge crack in the moon's surface. 2 police officers who evacuated Earth arrest Alex to take him to his evacuation center. As he resists them, the ground begins to shake and split in half, spilling hot lava. Alex quickly gets into his machine and leaves, but in the midst of the chaos, he hits his head on a piece of metal, knocking him unconscious. The time machine begins its journey, but the oblivious Alex isn't there to stop it. When he finally opens his eyes, he sees that he has reached the year 800-701 and quickly stops the machine before falling unconscious again. He wakes up in bed with healed wounds. While he is getting dressed, a little boy approaches him and runs away. Alex follows the child and sees that the future humans have reverted to a primitive lifestyle and are living on cliffs. They all come to Alex and look at him in awe, but they don't seem to understand English except for a girl named Mara who speaks the language fluently. Alex tells her that he's a time traveler, but Mara tells the others that he's just a wandering fool so they don't kill him. Those people are called Yellow. Loud honking is heard and everyone goes to their shed. That night he stays with Mara and her brother Kalen. See the broken pieces of the moon in the sky. The next day, Mara takes Alex to his time machine. 2 undamaged seats. Mara insists that Alex take Kalen back in time with her. Before Alex can ask why, a loud honking is heard in the background. Mara freaks out and runs to save Kalen while a confused Alex follows her. And everyone around them starts running back towards the cliffs. Suddenly, Alex comes face to face with a lifelike beast creature. They are called Morlocks. More of them come out of the ground and start attacking everyone. They tie up people they can get their hands on and lead them into the ground. Alex watches as one of them takes Mara and sinks into the ground with her. With everyone gone, Alex tries to ask the others where the Morlocks are taking them, but Kalen tells him that when the yellow ones are taken, they shouldn't talk about it. Kalen then takes Alex to the opening of the Morlock world. They go down into the cave and Alex realizes it's the New York Library. Hologram Voc 144 speaks behind them. Because the technology ran on solar energy, he survived all these years. Alex is more than surprised and asks him what is happening to the world now. Vox 114 answers that the human race evolved into 2 Lois and Morlock. This is the nature of the world now. Morlocks come to the surface to hunt Lois for survival. Vox then reveals that they should follow the breathing to get to the Morlock world. Kalen and Alex hear a noise and follow it to reach a huge statue of a demonic face whose mouth is the opening to the Morlock world. He leaves Kalen outside and goes underground. Carefully, he finally reaches the place and sees an entire civilization there. He then sneaks into the room and accidentally falls into a pond full of human remains. Alexa then finds Morlock and sends him to their leader's chamber. The leader explains that when the moon parted, some people sank underground with nowhere else to go. Over the years they evolved into flesh-eating Morlocks. Others miraculously survived on the surface and repopulated the yellow light. The Morlocks tried to return to the surface, but could not due to years of subterranean evolution. So they started chasing humans off the surface for food and reproduction. The leader also reveals that he has the power to control both Eloi's and Morlock's minds and control the balance of the world through them. He has also read Alex's mind and knows that he is a time traveler and that his wish is to bring Emma back. He makes Alexa hallucinate about her life if Emma hadn't died. He is filled with sadness when he sees Emma and his child playing. The leader then concludes that people cannot change their destiny because they are the result of their own actions. He then shows Alex the time machine he brought to the Morlock world. The leader wants to return to where he came from and not disturb the balance of society. Now Alex quietly obliges, but as he starts the machine, he pulls the leader in with him. The two fight for a while. Alex holds him outside the sphere of the machine and starts it up. A leader dies quickly of old age. He stops the machine again in the future and sees the place is filled with a Morlock cave, suggesting that the place is now ruled by Morlocks. Alex then returns to save Mara and takes her out of the cage. The Morlocks get angry and go to attack them, but Alex jams a cog in the machine, creating a massive distortion in time. The time machine explodes, taking the entire Morlock world with it. But Mara and Alexa manage to escape from the cave just in time. With his time machine gone, Alex decides to stay with Eloise as he has found happiness here in the future. We see Vox 144 teaching Eloise's children about people's past. Alex brings Mara and Kalen to where his lab used to be as he talks to them in another time. David and Mrs. Watchett enters Alex's lab and discusses his disappearance. David claims that Alex is happy wherever he is and offers Mrs. Watchett to come and work as his housekeeper. I hope you enjoyed the short preview of the film and be sure to watch it. You might like the film. Greetings.